The ancient Japanese secret for focus that beats coffee today. Before we begin, tell us in the comments what city you're rewatching this video from and whether you prefer tea or coffee in your daily routine. Now take a deep breath, because what you're about to discover here might completely change your routine around energy, concentration, and mental health. For decades, the entire world believed that coffee was the best way to increase focus, wake up the brain, and improve performance at work or in studies. But meanwhile, silently, on the other side of the planet, Japan was hiding an ancient secret that has only recently begun to be studied by modern science. And the revealed truth is this: there's a tea that the Japanese drink daily, sometimes more than 3 times a day, that increases focus more than coffee, without causing anxiety, without causing tremors, without disrupting sleep, without causing the typical side effects of caffeine. This tea was consumed by Buddhist monks for hundreds of years to keep their minds extremely alert during long periods of deep meditation. And the modern discovery is shocking. This beverage contains a compound that literally alters brain state, bringing the brain to a level of concentration that previously seemed only possible with powerful stimulants. But before revealing exactly what this tea is, and before telling you why it works, how the Japanese consume it, how much to take per day, and what precautions you should take, it's important to emphasize that no beverage substitutes professional guidance. Always consult your doctor before making any significant changes to your diet, especially if you have heart problems, anxiety disorders, hypertension, or sensitivity to natural stimulants. Now, imagine the scene. Tokyo, 6:30 in the morning, clean streets, people walking to work, students in uniform, shops opening, and on practically every corner, something in common: the gentle aroma of a greenish tea, hot, serving as fuel for millions of people to start their day. Unlike American coffee, which tends to be strong, quick, and sometimes consumed in a rush, this Japanese tea is consumed with ritual. It's appreciated, respected, savored, and this ritual already prepares the brain for something coffee doesn't do: reduce tension, balance the mind, and prepare the body for deep, stable, lasting focus. This tea is matcha. Wait, not just any matcha. In Japan, there's a specific type, with such high quality that its effects are completely different from common teas sold around the world. And that's why so many people try matcha outside Japan and say they did not feel anything. The secret lies in the combination of 3 factors: how it's cultivated, how it's ground, and how it's consumed. But before getting into those details, we need to understand why matcha is so much more powerful than coffee for improving focus. Coffee works because of caffeine and how it blocks adenosine receptors, the substance that makes you feel sleepy. The problem is that caffeine causes rapid energy spikes followed by sharp crashes, and it's during that crash that many people feel irritation, headaches, anxiety, tremors, or the famous energy crash. The brain feels like it's on a roller coaster, climbs fast, plummets fast. Matcha works completely differently. It also has caffeine, but alongside it exists another compound called L-theanine, a rare amino acid that alters brainwaves. Basically, L-theanine induces a state called alpha, the same state observed in monks in deep meditation. In this state, the mind is calm but alert, tranquil, yet concentrated, without euphoria, without anxiety, without tension. And because of this, when matcha's caffeine enters the body, it couples with L-theanine, creating a completely different effect from coffee. Focus lasts longer, without sharp crashes, without tremors, and without that feeling of irritability in the middle of the afternoon. And that's exactly why so many programmers, students, entrepreneurs, and even American doctors have started switching from coffee to matcha daily. In fact, several Japanese schools serve mild matcha to help students maintain focus without causing agitation. Now imagine this. You start your day drinking a beverage that keeps your mind awake, yet calm. You work for hours without feeling the typical anxiety from caffeine. Your memory seems sharper, your attention increases, your ideas flow, and most impressively, all this without disrupting sleep later, because the effect is gentle and prolonged. But why does this happen? Because matcha contains 5 to 10 times more antioxidants than common green tea, plus pure chlorophyll, powerful catechins, and a form of caffeine that's released slowly. This means your body doesn't receive an energy shock, it receives a constant flow. It's like someone slowly opening the faucet instead of throwing a bucket of cold water in your face. Now let us get to what really matters: how the Japanese consume this tea and how you can have exactly the same effect. First, they don't use boiling water. Never. When you boil water too much, you destroy antioxidants and alter the flavor, making the tea more bitter. The Japanese use water between 70 and 80 degrees Celsius. Second, they don't mix with a spoon. They use an instrument called a chasen, made of bamboo, which creates a fine foam and increases absorption of compounds. Third, they don't drink matcha all at once, like a quick coffee. They drink slowly, in small sips, allowing the body to absorb gradually. And here's a little-known point. The color of matcha tells everything about its quality. If it's light green or yellowish, it means the plant was cultivated without shade, therefore has less L-theanine and less chlorophyll. But if it's intense green, almost neon, that means the leaves were protected from the sun for up to 30 days before harvest, radically increasing the L-theanine content, and it's this type that increases focus. Now, let's go even deeper. There are ongoing studies investigating matcha's impact on neuroplasticity, short-term memory, auditory focus, and even impulse control. At some universities, researchers have discovered that matcha particles influence brain regions related to sustained attention. At others, positive effects have been observed in people with mild anxiety symptoms, because L-theanine reduces the sympathetic nervous system response. But attention, matcha is not medicine, doesn't cure diseases, and doesn't substitute medical guidance. If you have hypertension, heart problems, or caffeine sensitivity, consult a professional before consuming. Now we arrive at a point almost nobody talks about: quantities. The Japanese generally consume matcha in small portions, 1 to 2 grams at a time. This is enough to obtain all the benefits without overdoing caffeine, and they rarely exceed 4 grams per day, which keeps consumption safe. Now imagine someone accustomed to drinking 4 large cups of coffee per day, migrating to matcha. The difference in mental energy quality is impressive, and for those seeking focus without anxiety, matcha works almost like a natural brain hack. This is because it stimulates the production of dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters related to feelings of centeredness, clarity, and motivation. That's why so many people report that working for hours seems easier, that studying becomes more fluid, that the mind feels lighter. Now let's explore the brief history of this tea to understand why it became so valued. Matcha was brought to Japan by a monk named Iceland in the 12th century. He noticed that drinking matcha before meditation helped maintain concentration for long periods. He even wrote a book saying that matcha is the remedy for mind and body. From there, samurai began using matcha before battles because it promoted extreme focus without causing agitation. And over time, it became part of Japanese culture so deeply that grand ceremonies were created just to prepare this beverage. But what about today? How is matcha consumed in Japanese homes? Many adults drink it in the morning. Children consume small diluted amounts, and workers drink it during the afternoon to maintain focus without disrupting sleep. Meanwhile, in the West, people still consume matcha the wrong way, often with excessive sugar, artificial cream, and low-quality matcha. This eliminates the benefits. The Japanese don't do this. Now let's get into details about how to prepare matcha correctly for real results. First, use a spoonful of high-quality matcha. Water should be hot but not boiling. Mix with quick movements until foam forms. Drink slowly, breathing deeply between sips. This technique increases mental presence, reduces stress, and helps absorb antioxidants better. And now for an important point: long-term effects. People who consume matcha daily report gradual improvement in focus and emotional stability. This is because, being a natural food, the compounds accumulate in the body, increasing antioxidant levels. Matcha also helps with cellular protection, reduces brain aging, and decreases inflammation. In recent studies, some scientists observe that catechins present in matcha protect neurons against oxidative damage, which is common in people exposed to constant stress. Another surprising benefit: matcha improves cerebral blood flow. This means more oxygen reaches the brain, increasing the sensation of mental clarity. And this explains why so many Japanese live so many years with good quality of life. They consume antioxidants daily, and matcha is among the most potent on the planet. Now let's take a quick pause. Imagine starting your day with a quiet, stable mind, capable of concentrating on a task for long periods without distraction. Imagine being able to work for hours without feeling that mental fatigue that knocks you down in the middle of the afternoon. Imagine replacing the coffee that makes you anxious with a beverage that keeps you calm and alert at the same time. And now, imagine that this is already part of the daily routine of one of the world's longest living peoples. And of course, there are precautions. Don't take matcha in excess. Don't take it at night if you're sensitive to caffeine. Don't combine with other stimulants. Always consult your doctor if you have health problems. Now, moving toward the final part, let's talk about something many people ignore: the ritual. The Japanese believe that the ritual of preparing matcha is as important as drinking it, because it calms the mind, decreases anxiety, brings presence to the moment. And this presence is an essential part of improving focus. You don't need to follow the traditional ritual, but you can create your own. Choose the matcha, heat the water, mix calmly, breathe deeply, and drink slowly. Now imagine this routine every day. Your mind becomes lighter, your stress decreases, your focus increases, your productivity grows, and your energy becomes more stable. Over time, you realize you no longer need caffeine spikes to function. And when you look back, you realize you've adopted an ancient habit that can change your emotional, mental, and even physical life. And now that we've reached the end of this journey, Remember, always consult a doctor before adding any new substance to your daily routine, especially if you have caffeine sensitivity. And if this video brought you value, leave in the comments what city you're rewatching from and whether you plan to try matcha starting today.